起，一起旅行，一起打拼，一起数星星。因为你，我们在一起，不再哭泣，不再孤立，不再是泪滴。我们在天边跑成快递，拿着信插歌曲，多有趣。你们在水里拖撒水滴，玩游戏跟着喊，多好听。因为你，我们在一起，一起旅行，一起打拼，一起数星星。因为你，我们在一起，音乐让你让我陪你陪我陪大地。谢谢。
Beijing has confirmed the number of people who have died from a new type of respiratory virus in China has now passed 40. Almost more cities under quarantine. It's affected about 56
China's
million
unprecedented
people in
quarantine
total.
as it tries to
Outside China,
contagious before symptoms emerge, and is there a test to detect it? I'll speak with an infectious disease specialist as Europe records its first cases. Who wants to replace Andrew Scheer? Why the Conservative leadership race has more people at trial than in. The land is ill and getting people are ill. There are now confirmed cases in 9 countries, though the vast majority are still in China.
We are set to go. Who's that?
I've asked the director of the China program to gather them together in the afternoon, Taiwan time, which will probably be somewhere between 2 and 4 in the morning, our time. That's it, I'm not telling you anymore because... What? I will talk to them about the decision, about the current plans and options that they have, which include going to our Australia program or coming back to the U.S., and about the academics adjustments that we will start to make for them. In addition, I will talk a little bit more in addition to what the China director has already done, and about how to take steps to avoid contracting the illnesses while traveling.
Okay. So we're not going to China. That's a thing that's happening.
So I was supposed to go back to China, and I've only been traveling like backpacking for the last 2 months. So I have like 2 outfits and 2 outfits. The rest of my stuff, including my computer, which is necessary for LIU Global curriculum, is in Hangzhou, China, which is currently quarantined. Nothing is open. They can't send anything.
At the beginning of the semester, I was really scared actually because we were getting like 15 new people into our group, and it was just, I really, really loved the dynamic we had created after, 3 semesters together, so I was really just afraid of the change.
I had this weird moment kind of going into Italy where I was like really kind of done with Europe.
Once we got into it, it turned out to be really great and really nice.
I met Charles and I met Melania, and I like got into the center, and I was like, oh my god, this is me being the artist I've never been but always wanted to be. And I was really excited to just like kind of delve into that like Renaissance artistic person.
We were all kind of thriving in Italy and living our best lives. It was the first time we had like so much independence. We could choose what we were eating. We had our own places. We could choose when we wanted to go and leave. And so we were all really thriving in that independence, I think. I really miss the Arno River. I would walk along it every day to get to school. And there was a little park that was really small and just some grass there. You've probably been, but it's really cute, and you could just, I'd take my binoculars and I'd go look at birds, and I really loved it. And I felt like the river and I have like a spiritual connection. Like the river is like a person to me, and that was the hardest goodbye when I left Italy. I mean, other than Charles, because Charles is amazing. I remember hearing it was getting really bad in China.
We had Kevin and Jacob come from the China Center, and that was kind of like the first whisperings of it. I would say, and we were kind of like, oh, that's so sad. I hope they're okay. Like we kind of like had been making jokes about COVID-19, and then when they came, we were like, oh, we'll tiptoe around it. Like we don't want to like awaken any trauma.
The first time it hit our group was when we were on a field trip in Venice, and it was Carnival, so we were excited. Everyone bought, you know, like a mask. We were gonna go hang out in Carnival and have a good time, and we were there. I think it was Saturday night, and this was our like second day. So, you know, all the big things, we'd been there for like 2 days already, so we had fun, but we were just, you know, spending our last night in Venice. And then we hear from, I got like a text from like Hannah or something, and she was like, they're closing Carnival down, like it's everything's shut right now. And we were like, what? Like we're here and there's people here, what do you mean? And she's like, no, it's because of the coronavirus, they shut it down.
I was already wearing a face mask because I had a cold, and we were all kind of weirdly aware of like what was happening, but like not quite, it hadn't quite hit yet. So we were all like, oh, don't want to touch anything, don't want to touch anybody, like what's going on? And there were like people running in the streets with luggage because the millions of visitors were running home.
And then we get a text from Irini, who is the Europe Center director, saying you need to come back to the hostel immediately, get off the island, like they're quarantining Venice at midnight, you need to get out of there. I was up talking to my boyfriend until 1 a.m. and then in the hallway, and I see Max come out with a suitcase, and we're like, Max, what's up? And he's like, I'm leaving, I'm going back to New York tonight because I see that this is not going to go well and I'm leaving tonight. And that was like kind of crazy, and that scared me because I was like, wait, what am I doing? You know, like I don't know what I should be doing. And I called my dad. He's like, this happens every 20 years, it's fine. And he made me feel better. So it was Sunday night when the thing in Venice happened. So we left Monday morning. We get back and everyone is buzzing that they're going to close the Italy Center. And everyone was like, we're not leaving, we don't want to go. Like, this is ridiculous. Everyone here is so calm. There's nothing wrong.
And my main concern was, if we go home, I would like to go home. And then the other one was, I don't want to go home because I don't want to bring anything I potentially have back to the States. And I don't want to bring anything I potentially have, especially back to my family, because I live with my grandma, who is, I think, 82. She might be 83. But I didn't want to bring it home to her, and my boyfriend is, compromised, so I don't want to bring it to him.
We were like, okay, number one, we don't want to go. Number two, and it was almost like a consensus. Like, there was a few people that did want to go that were afraid. But most people didn't want to go. And then the second option was, if we have to leave, like, let us go all the way home to our families and don't send us to New York. The worst case scenario is they give us no options and they make us go straight to New York. And that's exactly what happened.
The university has decided that we need to bring you back to the United States.
It's kind of like getting broken up with. And as soon as your body like hits the bed or like wherever you're ending up landing, you're like, oh my God, I just got broken up with by the world. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. The school did this really cool thing where they were trying to like keep our like class mindset as much as possible. And at the time I was like, meh, wait, you just sent me home. But we had like these tables in New York, and we had to sit down, and we had this big TV screen, and we were like watching our teacher. And I think that even just like having fellow students there and still like being in a dorm really kind of kept the school vibe. So I was able to like, even though I was stressed and anxious and like depressed and all of the things, I was still able to like pretend I was like going to school and this is what I needed to be doing at the time, and like be distracted by that.
somebody got word at LIU Brooklyn that the global students were coming, and somebody made up some rumor that one of them had COVID. The global students are going to be protested. The students are going to like start this uproar. They're protesting and signing petitions so that the students wouldn't come. And then I would just be walking through the school and just hear people being like, oh, global. And I like could hear global, and global doesn't come out of anybody's mouth there. So then it became this panic that these students are coming to New York. We're just not going to allow them on campus. So for 2 weeks, they had to quarantine, not allowed on campus, and we weren't allowed in their building to go see them.
Down, yeah. I've been feeling so down, yeah. Can you tell me why? I'm down, yeah. No friends of mine around, yeah. Now I'm thinking I might have caught the June blues. Yeah, I wanna drown myself inside the juice. Yeah, you know I keep on running from the truth. Was that not? I'm just alone.
So all of us were in New York for our final semester. And yeah, capstone semester usually runs, everyone's back in New York City. We all are finishing out our senior thesis projects as well as doing New York internships and preparing to graduate.
It was strange to feel like a freshman in a school because I'd never been there before, but knowing I was graduating.
But it was super cool having everyone here together. We haven't had a class, all of us together, since like Costa Rica.
Seeing what people can bring to the table now that we've gone different ways was just really, really awesome.
This is just something happening in China was definitely a lot of the mindset. It's all right, guys, just stay safe, wash your hands. It's cool. And I think too, just everything we were being fed from the US being here when it was happening definitely wasn't informative at all. But I remember when my friend Sophie, she had decided during spring break, which was kind of before it really hit the US, or social distancing, kind of before that, she was like, I think I'm going to go to Australia. I think I'm going to leave this semester. All of us were like, why? Like, what? Like, dude, no. Definitely didn't seem like a huge thing that was going to hit us directly. And I remember this Sunday towards at the end of spring break for us, we had like a little going away gathering, hugging, everything. And we were like, okay, we're saying goodbye to Loaf, not like saying goodbye to each other. And not our whole class was there, but a good amount of us was. And then that Monday, so that next day, as soon as Loaf left, it was like social distance, everyone in New York, it's breaking out, it's huge. Stay inside, quarantine, the whole thing. Then talks of internships happening. And then one by one, most of our classmates just started to go home.
Coming home and making that decision, I was like, all right, everything's going to be online. This is going to suck. We've had online classes before. They're not my favorite. I zone out all the time. Now this is the rest of my semester. And then my internship went fully online as well. And so now I have days where I start on my computer at 7:30 in the morning and I don't get off my computer until 3, and then I have a community meeting with LIU and now it's 4, and then I have all of these things and I'm just on my computer and I want to throw it out the window. The start of the semester was like really, really great, especially because your freshman year is 2 semesters in Costa Rica. So by the time I came back after break, it was just like you feel very acquainted with where you are, and I had friends in Costa Rica already. I already had my friends from school. You know you were around. Freshman students have to do a 2-week research course, which is like basically the entire point of one of our classes. So we were all on our first week. Everyone was just feeling like weird and awful. And like beforehand too, I think like 2 weeks before we left or so, like when stuff started really going down in Italy, we reached out to our program director, Sarah. 2 of my friends and I went over to her and we're like, so, like, do you think we're going to be sent home at any point? Because there's, at that point, 3 cases in Costa Rica. And we were talking to her and she's like, yeah, no way. Like, That would never happen. Then 2 weeks later, we're away on our trips, and of course, we're all separated too in different parts of the country. I was with Aaron and Teji at this time. It was just like strange. We kept looking at the news. You don't get normal news intake when you're abroad. Kept looking at the news, and it was like travel restrictions, like nobody allowed out of Europe who isn't a US citizen, stuff like that. And it started like getting very serious. One of my friends, her dad got her a flight home that Wednesday, so she was 2 days into her field research and she had to leave without any notice, without saying bye to anyone. So then I think we kind of realized as a collective, like, this is getting serious. I got back to Heredia on a Thursday, coming home from my trip early and stuff, so I had some days to like pack and do whatever. But my friends and I wanted to go to last like a little club trip for like the weekend. Clubs were all closed. I think that's when people started to realize, like, wow, I can't go to like La Concha, this is like insane. And then everyone started to like actually take it seriously. I think a week after that, they closed the borders of Costa Rica. So essentially the school didn't really, they were being precautious with us, of course. They were giving us supplies like face masks, gloves, hand sanitizer, but they didn't really make a decision. Like, all of the students collectively decided. So we all, I think most of us except 3 people left the week after. It was just like very upsetting leaving your friends so suddenly after being there for like a little over a month. And like I said, the semester was just going like so well. Like, our group was doing so well together. Classes were going great. Everything was just so perfect. So it was just kind of like disappointment.
Well, this week has been pretty normal, but the week before that, not so much. We got here, like 6 of us all moved in, all excited to start the semester. And then we heard a little rumors. We'd started talking about coronavirus, so we said, oh, they're gonna come. And then they came. So then we had all our classes canceled for a week, and it was really sunny, so I just went to the beach every day and hung out, and then all my friends came, and that's all.
I'm supposed to be in China, but I'm not. But I'm making the best of it, and I'm having a great time. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Too slow. You said slow.
Too slow.
Okay. Forget that.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, 'cause I can't help falling in love with you. That's part. I can't help falling in love with you.
At the moment, it's all in crazy flux because LIU has closed its campuses and internships are closing. So we're trying to. There's 2 focuses for our meeting tonight. One is to make sure the seniors can still. We can move classes online. That's fine for them, but the internship requirement to still meet the hours so that they can graduate. So that's our first concern. And the second is potential travel bans for the rest of the world and what that might mean for Costa Rica and for us here. So that's our focus for the meeting. The US is closing its borders to the rest of the world, which is, they've just closed their borders to Europe now. Except for the UK. I mean, that kind of measure is unprecedented in peacetime, so we're talking about a really big change, and yesterday I had a first conversation with the dean about our options for alternatives, and we started talking about that, and that's, that was in progress, and that's fine, and now this is happening, so it's just, at the moment, like I said, I will know more after our meeting tonight as to what's going on, what the options are, and what we can do, but it's moving pretty rapidly, and I can't tell you the direction in which it is moving, unfortunately.
It's 11:50 and some guy had a meeting early this morning with a bunch of very important people that we don't know, and I guess after some serious talk for an hour and a half, the other teachers decided to keep us here. Basically, so we're staying, but things could change, so I don't know.
We're done. We're canceled.
Yeah, we're canceled.
LIU was playing Survivor, and then we all got sent home. I'm still worried that we're not gonna have an IRIS. I feel like it's all just canceled. The world has canceled itself, and we're just on plague Eve right now.
If the coronavirus is still a thing, our school literally cannot exist. The whole point of our school
is to not be in any one country.
Again, I'm really sorry not to have managed to develop a longer relationship with our newcomers. A real pleasure to have so many of you unexpectedly come back, and a real pain that it's been cut short.
It's all been said. I'm sad to see you go. I'm sad that we don't have this time here together. I've been so impressed by your group dynamic. I've been impressed by your resilience and adaptability. Holy crap, just yesterday, there we were changing the course of everything, and you all sprang into action, doing what needed to be done, caring for each other, offering support, offering places to stay. That gives me a lot of hope, and I feel really honored to have had the opportunity to work with you for however long or short that has been, and we will continue to do that. Thank you to each of you for what you've put in and what you've given.
I think the last 4 years with all the transitions in global has kind of made me realize a little bit that nothing is certain, and you have to be ready to adapt to everything and anything. And that's always I can do that. And then this semester, it's oh, we've been preparing you this whole time. We've changed things here and done things there, and you haven't been allowed to go here. And now it's this is just preparation for this pandemic. Now nothing's certain. And so I guess the scary part is now when I talk to other people and they're oh, well, what are you going to do next? And I don't have I'm going to this country and that country, and this is my curriculum, because next is graduation, and next is, make some decisions. And now it's well, how do I make decisions when nothing's open, nobody's hiring, everyone's filing for unemployment? So then when that lifts up, everybody's going to be looking for a job. which props to Global for being super awesome and giving us really awesome resumes to help with that. But then it's like, oh, well, I want to go to grad school. Do I do a grad school online so then if anything like this happens again, I'm not affected and then I don't have to go through this massive transition period again? Or do I attempt to find a school that's in person and try to get back into that space? And I think it's hard when we have particular assignments that are asking us to fill out applications when I don't have applications to fill out.
Kind of just worried about not feeling this closure that I needed with Global. But yeah, after these like wild years, it's kind of crazy that it's just coming to end via Zoom.
Like, we don't have an in-person graduation. My graduation is now on a PowerPoint slide that my name comes across, my photo's there, and whoop-de-doo, somebody who I've never seen before and never will see ever says my name. I don't even get a cap and gown. And that's frustrating because it kind of all works up to this big moment of you have the success you got through these 4 years and you're about to go into this crazy world. Here, let's celebrate one more time you doing this like big thing and going through all these years of school, and now that's just not a thing.
So just feeling really grateful for all of the people I do have in my life and everyone that's around and staying connected during this time. And I think that'll be how I feel ending this journey. Just really grateful.